Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor, and I just got back from taking the kids to school. I wanted to go over this that I got from Bond Crip. At Bond Crip, go follow him. He sends me great info on XRP and the digital asset world often, and he's a very persistent guy, and I appreciate it. He sent me this morning. U.S. Congressman plans for federal crypto and ICO regulation. The bill would create an asset class for crypto and digital assets, which would prevent them from being classified as securities, but allow the federal government to regulate ICOs more effectively. And basically, this article he's pointing to is right here. Report U.S. Congressman announces plans for federal cryptocurrency and ICO regulation. Now, this is a very interesting article because for a couple of reasons. First, it lays out for everyone just how convoluted everything has gotten in our government. It really talks about the U.S. government, but governments around the world, how they should all get on the same page instead of everybody thinks something different. And I'm going to lay this out for you the way the article does. But first, this is talking about U.S. Representative Warren Davidson, who's a Republican, and he's out of Ohio, I believe. He's announced plans to introduce legislation that would clearly regulate cryptocurrencies and initial coin offerings, ICOs. And I think, well, I don't think, I've told you many times that the reason that Wall Street is coming into crypto is because they smell the money. And what this article is really about, if you want to sum it up, is that these people in Congress, the money is now being smelled by them. And for that reason, they're trying to step in there and tell the SEC, look, we need to all get together and come up with one overall strategy on this instead of all these different arms of government declaring crypto and digital assets different things. And that way, it will open the door. Because if you think that these congressmen don't want ICOs, you better think again. These ICOs represent big time money going in their pockets. And we've already heard about there was an article not too long ago about one of the lobbying firms accepting XRP as partial payment for their lobbying fees. So if you think that these guys are not switched on to this whole ICO and the money-making potential of what's about to happen, think again. So this article goes on and it starts talking about all the different parts of government that have declared digital assets different things. It starts with the SEC. Their stance is that most cryptocurrencies are securities. Then it goes to the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. They, on the other hand, treat cryptocurrencies as commodities. Then we go to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN. This agency, they deal with anti-money laundering and know your client standards. They view crypto as money. Then we have the U.S., let's see, what is this? The U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, which enforces economic sanctions. They view crypto as money. And then finally, the IRS treats cryptocurrencies as money, as property, meaning that profits from selling them are subject to capital gains tax. So you can see how convoluted our government that's way too big has already made this. And what this is this congressman's attempt to bring all of this under one roof and everybody get on the same page is basically the way that this article reads. But it's important to understand how this came about so that you understand that this is all about congressmen smelling the money. First, what happened, U.S. congressional representatives sent a letter in September to the SEC chairman, Jay Clayton, calling for clear guidelines between those digital tokens that are securities. And then in the same month, over 45 representatives of major crypto companies, Wall Street firms attended a congressional roundtable discussion on cryptocurrency and ICO regulation. Now, if you remember, Ripple, as well as several other major blockchain companies, had gone up there. They had formed a lobbying group, and they had gone up there to talk to these guys. And if you don't believe that the I think it was Ripple that had actually hired a lobbying firm, or this group had hired a lobbying firm. But if you do not think that these congressmen now smell the money and are getting serious about being serious about opening this up to let it happen, instead of trying to clamp down on ICOs and all this, it's time to think again, people, because once these people smell the money and Wall Street smells the money, they will make it happen the way that they can maximize that money for themselves. Write it down. Okay, moving along. I wanted to show you C3 Nick's tweet from this morning. I guess it was from this morning. Articles read, Bitcoin is dead. Bitcoin is done. Stick a fork in it. Crypto is dead. Meanwhile, Poloniex launches institutional trading desk. Fidelity getting in. Bakkt launches soon. NASDAQ getting in. Prices get weighted more than macro trends. And then he's got hashtag opinion. And he goes on to say this, which I agree with. Institutions are very good at accumulating while not moving prices. They are extremely good at it. That being said, even after the launch of these custody solutions, it could actually take longer for the market to recover than most think. That is one possible scenario. And I think what he's getting at is, yes, even though we know Wall Street's coming and we know the money's coming, that does not mean that because I can see it in my comments section already. It's like the most frustrating thing. I can see it. The second that Bakkt flips a light switch, or Poloniex or any of these others flip that switch, does not mean that the market is instantly and automatically going to go crazy. There could be a delay to how the money flows in, and it could come in over a period of time. It's not going to be much time, in my opinion. But mostly what I've seen more than anything, I've seen in this market, it's the buy the rumor, sell the news. I've seen things happen on the front end of things like this, is the way it's unfolded most of the time. But it doesn't matter, because what matters is the big picture. I always go back to this. What matters is what is we all know is coming and is about to happen in this space. And the fact that they've declared it a new asset class, that's what matters. Doesn't matter if it happens today or tomorrow. Doesn't matter if it happens today because Bakkt is going to open on January 24th. Or it doesn't happen if it happens on January 24th or January 25th. None of that matters. What matters is the next 1 second to 5 years is going to be amazing and is going to make fortunes for people. And that's what matters. And I'm going to finish this video by reading you. My father sent me this. He gets a copy of the Weiss report. And you know, we've had with the Weiss report, they came out initially and kind of talked down about XRP. But over time, they came around and understood what you and I have understood all along. And they are now talking really good about XRP, as they should, as XRP deserves to be talked about. They know it's the greatest digital asset ever created. The evidence is all around for you to see. But I want to read for you just this little intro of the Weiss ratings email that went out to a lot of their investors, because they pegged it in this little write-up. And so here we go. They say, even as some investors fret about this year's Bitcoin bust. I'm going to open this up so I can see it a little better. Give me 1 second. Okay. It says, even as some investors fret about this year's Bitcoin bust, Fidelity, the NASDAQ, NICE, Goldman Sachs, and a host of other big money institutions see a major profit bonanza in the making. Fidelity Investments, with $7.2 trillion in assets under management, has just announced plans to expand its cryptocurrency custody services. The NASDAQ and the NICE will be launching Bitcoin futures contracts early next year. Goldman Sachs recently became the first investment bank in the world to offer Bitcoin trading products to its customers. Santander Bank, MoneyGram, American Express, and many others are also jumping into the crypto space. Why? Because while some investors seem to always drive with their rearview mirrors, These big institutions are looking straight into the immediate future. They recognize the massive disruptive potential of cryptocurrency technology. They know that Bitcoin has always surged dramatically every time it reached bargain prices like today's. And they realize now is the ideal time to invest in this new, they said asset class, I say new asset class. The only new asset class to show up in the last 500 years. I'm the digital asset investor. I am not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that this is the first new asset class in over 500 years. Thanks for listening.